knowledge, al-ilm al-nafi', beneficial knowledge, is that which reflects on who you are.
As the only true God, and whom you have sent the messenger Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So he himself refers to himself as a messenger sent by God. That's in the Bible's teaching. The fundamental teachings of Islam is that God is not like his creation. God is not a man, he's not a woman, he's not an idol, he's not a statue. Beyond the creation. What do you think?
I hear some points and I understand in what you're saying. I do believe in terms of if they say that Christ is or God is in flesh, I do believe that God can make anything happen, like it says that he came to Moses in a burning bush, or when that person was hitting the donkey spoke out. I do believe that God can make anything happen. I also do believe in something called the Sabbath day, which is the seventh day, the day of rest. But I see in society, the Catholic Church have also made Sunday as the seventh day, and then there's also Saturday the seventh day. And I believe this whole thing of Sunday being the seventh day is something that the Roman Catholic Church has created.
As the only true God, and whom you have sent the messenger Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So he himself refers to himself as a messenger sent by God. That's in the Bible's teaching. The fundamental teachings of Islam is that God is not like his creation.
Okay.
God is not a man, he's not a woman, he's not an idol, he's not a statue. Beyond the creation. What do you think?
I hear some points and I understand in what you're saying. I do believe in terms of if they say that Christ is or God is in flesh, I do believe that God can make anything happen, like it says that he came to Moses in a burning bush, or when that person was hitting the donkey spoke out. I do believe that God can make anything happen. I also do believe in something called the Sabbath day, which is the seventh day, the day of rest. But I see in society, the Catholic Church have also made Sunday as the seventh day, and then there's also Saturday the seventh day. And I believe this whole thing of Sunday being the seventh day is something that the Roman Catholic Church has created in the whole world as a form of, you could say their belief or their system. Now, in terms of how I'm relating it to Christianity, is that I believe that the way the world is coming, that they're going to bring something called a Sunday law, a national Sunday law, where it will prohibit everybody to rest on this Sunday for it to be a day of rest and worship, whereby me understanding that Sunday, I believe, is coming from the devil. Not saying that people who follow it are the devil. I just believe that that system is creating that in place when we see that this new world order is coming, and they're trying to bring everything in this new world order.
Yeah, they're trying to change the morality upside down,
I believe so, yeah.
making things which
I
are
believe so.
universally unacceptable to God to become acceptable. So yeah, I agree with you there. We believe in end time scenarios as well.
What do you believe in terms of end time scenario, how you see the end times?
Yeah, so not too dissimilar to many of the Christian beliefs, that Jesus will come, he will rectify first of all the issue of who he was. Meaning he will declare that he was a prophet sent by God, having no claim to divinity. Those who do make that claim for him, he will set them straight. And then he will fight against the Antichrist system and defeat it. And we're in that.
Who do you think that Antichrist system is?
So the Antichrist system, I mean, I'd love to speak about this particular chap. There's two words in a nutshell, a name of a chap called Michael Gove, biggest Antichrist on the planet today. Have you heard of him?
No.
Yeah, he's the levelling up minister for the UK. He decides all policies. He decides who comes into power, how long the person stays in power,
Is
the
this
policies.
person particularly within the UK?
Yeah, he's a minister. He's referred to as the levelling up minister, sometimes also known as the intergovernmental minister. So this man, he is the one who introduced same-sex education for young children at primary school in 2005.
It goes against humanity in terms of creation of the world.
Yeah. So these will be the setting of before the coming of Christ will essentially be every ungodly aspect will be in control. Feminism, atheism,
Yeah,
LGBTQ.
yeah, which is not, it's not of God because it goes against
Yes.
living, you know.
Exactly. So traditionally, we've always had coherent families where man has been the head of the family. That's no longer the case now. Women are now dominating. They're in positions of authority and dominance. And that will continue to, this will be some of the precipice of the signs of the coming of the Antichrist. The role reversals will take place. You can go to school now, your child can say at the age of 5 or 6, you know, I identify as a girl if the child is a boy.
Yeah.
And you as a parent don't have any right to say anything.
Yeah, even if you said something, you're seen as a bad person, which it wouldn't make sense how you can identify as a girl because you don't have female parts. You can't make a baby.
Precisely, a fantastic point.
You can't make a baby.
But these are the people like Michael Gove,
of course,
who are implementing. You should read up on it.
How it changes the BBC and the ITV. But I do think people like that are in relation with other world powers of the other countries.
Yes, definitely.
Because when these other world powers say jump, the other ones are saying how high.
Yes, but it's mainly from here. Here, the US, for example,
I
they're the
believe
ones
the
that say
US.
jump, and the others say how high. So basically, it's people with America in particular, and Britain. So commonly, Britain will be referred to as the son. America will be concerned to Britain as the father, America as the son. So when the father, like Britain, reaches the old age, the son takes over. So the British, who had their empire when they were at this strength, and
conquering Bangladesh and other places,
conquering all the world. But the point is, they still set their motion in place, so people follow them blindly. In a government follow
unknowingly, through things like the BBC and the ITV.
Yeah, but they install
and all these
things.
other platforms.
Yeah, there are many things going on behind the scenes that they're striving relentlessly in the pursuit of bringing in this anti-God system, meaning a system unheard of in history. Where if you go to school, 2 mothers will pick up their daughter, or 2 fathers will pick up their son, like Elton John and his partner. Can you imagine?
Exactly. And the list goes on.
Yeah, the list goes on. So this is the way, and this will be the precipice before the return of Christ. So Islamic eschatology gives us a great insight into his coming. Whereas Christian eschatology, they were expecting his return within the lifetime of the disciples. It didn't happen, like in 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. It didn't happen.
So in terms of what they believe or understand of Christianity, what do you think Christians believe? Because you probably understand there's Roman Catholicism, there's Orthodox, there's all this other one, Luciferian church and so on, Pentecostal church. What's your understanding of all these different churches on supposedly what they testify?
Yeah, so the Christianity is a whole array of different beliefs. You know, some people are Unitarian Christians who don't believe in Jesus' divinity. Others are Catholics, as you said, who believe in Mary as the mother of God. There are Protestants who believe in the Trinity. There are oneness Pentecostals who believe Jesus is the Father, and there is no Trinity. So the understanding of who Jesus is all over the place according to Christian belief. There is no, but Islamic belief is simple. One God.
I get what you mean, but the reason why of Christian beliefs all over the place is because of Roman Catholicism because Roman Catholicism is a mixture of paganism and Christianity. Roman Catholicism comes from the Roman Empire, who conquered England and all these places. So when the Roman Empire conquered England, they put this thing in called the Dark Ages. And this Dark Ages was to kill other Christian people who protested this Roman Empire. Now the reason why I'm talking about the Roman Empire, because of it being linked with Catholicism is on top of the United States and these other places that works because it's its own government, it's its own system. And all these other churches that say Sunday, Sunday, unbeknowingly, they're worshipping Satan through that. Now you've got another church, which again people say the name, but I don't call myself that name. So I'll just use the example. You've got the Seventh-day Adventist Church, who don't believe in Sunday. They believe in Christ the Father and through that creation, but they don't believe in Sunday being the first day of the week. It's Saturday, the original 7th day of the week, from Old Testament to New. So many modern-day Christians will say, but we're now Sunday. Christ resurrected on Sunday, but there's nothing in the Bible saying, even if he resurrected on the Sunday, we shouldn't take Sunday as that blessed day. Saturday is known as that because it's the creation of the world. But in terms of this making relevance, not attacking you or whatever, in terms of this making relevance, it goes back to what I think these world governments want to create a system which is connected
Yes.
through this thing of homosexuality and all these things.
LGBT,
It's trying to create
feminism,
this
it's like
because you
a
can
pact
see
together,
through TV
alliance
and
together.
all these things.
Yes.
And again, you say one thing wrong
Yeah.
on TV, that's you out.
That's you out.
And
Exactly.
you don't have a job and so on.
Exactly.
So my
I mean-
understanding is they're trying to create this world system.
Do you know, I've got a friend who's told me that where he works in central London, there was one employee in 250 employees who identified as himself as being transgender. Due to that reason, you know what happened?
What happened?
They made public toilets accessible to everyone. So there's no longer ladies and gents. It's all free for all.
Yeah.
You just go in the toilets, if you're a woman or a man, there is no privacy anymore. That's the system. So people who are listening on, this is the anti-God system. I mean,
Yeah, of
imagine
course it is.
women and men going and sharing the same toilet. For Pete's sake, why do we have late? Because there's a privacy. Women have their privacy, men have their privacy. You understand? It's ridiculous that this is where the system is spiraling towards. And
Yeah, of course.
and it's never happened before. The thing
No,
is,
it hasn't. It's been progressive over the years. It's
progressive.
been
Yeah, you're very
progressive.
intuitive.
Yeah,
So
it's been progressive.
fabulous. So by that understanding, we believe in all this is going to happen in the run-up. But our fundamental message that we like to speak of is worshipping God Almighty alone, a supreme being who is unlike his creation. He's not a man, he's not a woman, he's not an idol, he's not a statue. The very same God that Jesus Christ worshipped. He tells us, look at this verse carefully. John 17:3. For this is eternal life, that they may know you as the only true God, and whom you have sent, the messenger, the apostolos, Jesus Christ, sent by God as a messenger. We believe he was a prophet. We believe this is what he teaches.
Yeah.
In Mark 6:4, he refers to himself as a prophet. That's the Islamic narrative, just behind you there. You see that? The message of Abraham, Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, peace be upon them. They came with that one message: worship God Almighty alone.
Do you feel that, I'm listening at the same time, do you feel that there's a heaven, like maybe it's up there, or heaven will be here? Do you think that there's a place where people burn forever, or sin will be destroyed and that's it? Or
So we believe that once
understand it?
once we all die, and then at the end, God is going to destroy everything, and then He will resurrect all of us. There will be a judgment day in which those who have achieved success will be in eternal bliss, a paradise, and those who have become the most wretched, they will have to endure the torment of the hellfire.
Do you think this hellfire will be forever, or will it be something that hellfire, then the people are destroyed, then that's it, there's purification of the world?
For example, in Matthew chapter 25, verse 46, it says hellfire will be forever. So hellfire will be for the most reluctant Satan and his entourage, who leads mankind astray, like Michael Gove. They will burn therein forever unless Michael Gove repents and accepts what he's done as an error. But the path he's continuing towards. And what I like to drum on about this guy, because this is the major catalyst, the major spokesman of the anti-God system.
So with this Michael Gove guy,
Yeah.
who would have been before? Would there would have been other people before?
Oh yeah,
him,
yeah,
if you see
yeah,
what I mean?
absolutely. So
It's
they
a
all
system
work
that goes on.
precisely. They all work in an esoteric manner. It dates back, particularly if you go back to the
If you want to read it, these high-profile Masonic people
precisely
who ultimately worship the devil through sacrifices.
fantastic. You're right on there,
these
bro.
sort of
You're right
things.
on. That's exactly
But
what they do.
society, again, as you say, will not say that on mainstream BBC because
Yes.
they want to keep the platform of people within that box.
Precisely. They're
And the
very
minute, as I said, the minute you say something, that's your job done.
That's your job done.
So if you're a footballer, a musician,
Yeah.
whatever, if you don't, again, it may sound sad, if you don't fall in line, then you get moved, and then who's going to pay your mortgage?
Yeah, but in other circumstances, if you become very popular, for example, if I became very popular, and people begin to realise this Michael Gove is a danger, how does he? Maybe even politicians say there are some secret, shadowy people who run the government.
Yeah,
Even
of course there
politicians,
is.
and this is the guy.
And again, you can't, as mad as it seems, you can't be a high-profile diplomat without following these patterns, I believe, or being a billionaire like that.
Yeah.
There's something behind that.
Yeah, because they sell their souls to Satan, you see. In the Quran it says, there are those who represent God. There are those who represent Satan. Those who sacrifice their hereafter
Yeah.
work tirelessly in the path of evil.
Yeah.
And they advocate.
these platforms, these things,
Yes.
basically. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've got some. I'm actually doing a program on Monday on YouTube, 3
Oh, okay,
p.m.
okay.
It's called Cove FF.
Okay, so I just
I'm
type
dis-
it in on
yeah,
Monday, yeah?
on YouTube. Just
Is it
subscribe.
comes in COVE?
COV
Yeah,
FF. Type it in now on your mobile if you've got it mobile. I'm doing a 3 p.m. discussion on Michael Gove particularly. I want people really to focus on what I'll be speaking about, who this guy is, and what his agenda is. He'd be very
So
welcome.
I'm listening. I'm just typing at the same time.
Yeah, Michael Gove. Read up about him when you get in tonight.
GOVE, yeah?
Correct. Yes.
And what's that? YouTube this Monday, yeah?
Yeah, it's on the channel called Cove FF on YouTube. You can subscribe to it now. You'll get notification when we go live, and I'll give a thorough breakdown of who this guy is, what his
Cove FF,
policies
yeah?
are. He's next in line for him. He's I mean, he's the one.
Sorry, what time? Sorry to cut you. What is
Yeah.
it? 9 p.m. You said.
No, 3 p.m. on Monday. However, just if you subscribe to the channel, if there are any updates which if there's any time change, it will be there. But provisionally, we're booked for 3 p.m. on Monday, and I'd love for you to come on if you want to afterwards, join in the live stream.
I'll listen. Yeah.
Good man.
But what do you feel again? Obviously, you can see the way this system is going. Obviously, the way adverts is going. You would have noticed. If you look on every TV program, they always have a scene of homosexuality. You probably noticed.
Yes,
BBC,
yes.
Football, the whole list goes on.
Absolutely, yes.
And I've noticed as well, with that, they've created this thing of an LGBT charity, you know, which is saying that it's to help support LGBT. They're going through abuse, mental health. But everyone's going through abuse, mental health. But the saddening thing is, people are putting money into this charity thing. It's becoming rich, but it's supporting these platforms that are against God, that don't. You know, I don't see, like we said, I don't see how somebody who's 7 can now say I'm a woman. It don't make sense.
Precisely.
It don't make sense.
When you go outside the football ground, you get people like the former England captain Jordan Henderson. He goes to Saudi Arabia, massive media campaign against him, because he's gone to a country which doesn't accept LGBTQ. You see that? You see how you know what I'm talking about, don't you? He's a football player. He went to Saudi Arabia to play football,
Okay.
and because he went there, they went against him. The media went against him big time. All saying, oh, he's a sellout to his fundamental beliefs, whereas it states that you're not allowed to speak about politics in
Oh
sport.
God, no, definitely.
But when it
Yeah,
suits
you'll be
them, you can.
Oh God, yeah.
But when it suits them,
definitely.
you can. So,
Yeah,
like for example, if you go to the Tottenham football ground,
Yeah.
on the at White Hart Lane,
Yeah.
they've got an LGBTQ exit point. With they've hijacked the rainbow.
Yeah,
So-
the rainbow. Like,
Yeah,
promise
so that
something.
so this is going to become the norm, you see, in
Yeah,
society.
It's becoming that, and again, it's crazy that if someone was to get assaulted or whatnot who was LGBT, it will make big news.
Yes, exactly.
When I was doing research, LGBT in the UK generally it's only like a 9%. So there is many people that are against it, but because of the media and whatnot, they're not allowed to say it because you're crucified.
Exactly. You can't speak up against them in any way, shape or form. You'll get done. You know, even me speaking now is a bit brave on both our parts to speak.
Even you're allowed to say it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, you can even get absolutely. You know, once the governments come after you, if they see you're getting popular and you're resonating with people,
But
boy, they'll
I
come after
still
you.
do feel these powers or people at the top. That's why, sadly, people in these other countries, presidents or political figures who generally have tried to, you could say, make a change. I do feel this is why they've been dethroned or even killed. if you want to
Precisely,
word it.
absolutely.
Because
And those
again,
who stand
they
up
stepped
against
out
them,
of
they
line.
will be dethroned. Absolutely, brilliant point. You're well clued on, my friend. They will be. But the whole thing behind it, what it is, why is this all happening? It's an affront to God.
Okay.
Affront. Not a front, affront. It's a
Okay,
word.
the term,
It's
yeah.
an affront to God Almighty. So that's the whole basis of everything. And for this, we need to be ready and prepared. They want to change God's. I'll give you a small example.
Yeah.
In the Quran, in the Bible, it states the following, as you may be familiar with: the head of woman is man, the head of man is Christ, the head of Christ is God. In the Quran, there's a not too dissimilar verse which says the believing women are devoted to Allah and by proxy to their husbands. So that means this is a way that God has always subsisted, that people live according to that tenet, you see. The man has the authority. Not that he misuses it. This is how God has pertained to things to. But they're changing it upside down. Now women are the ones in power. They're the ones who decide all the finances in a home. If you're married, let's say you have a couple of children, three children, for example, aged 10, 8, 6. You're both working. You and your spouse both work.
Yeah.
You earn roughly the same time. You do co-parental responsibility.
Yeah.
In the event of a divorce, the courts will automatically give the children to the mother.
Yeah,
What will
that's
happen
true.
then?
You lose the mortgage.
You lose all the assets, 90% of the estate. If she wants to, if you've got a right to see the children once a month, and the courts won't enforce it. So what do we have? Organisations like Families Need Fathers for Justice, because they can't see their kids because they've given them dominance, the women to do free for all. And it's happening from the top. Like before the last government, you had the Home Secretary Priti Patel, you had Cressida Dick, you had the social work. Today, social workers in divorce cases or child custody cases, they have more say than a judge. They can overturn a judge just like that.
I never actually knew that.
Yes. They're in power. These are the feminist movement who go into occupations such as social work because they're vociferously anti-men.
I used to work in a residential care home, and with the social work, it's too much corruption. It's no longer looking after that kid. It's become a money-making system. Yeah. And again, the minute you try to explain that properly or this again, you're crucified and out the door. So I find there's a lot of corruption in the social system. Like, look at this whole story of the Lucy Letby, that lady who killed those babies.
Yeah.
So are you telling me that people didn't know that this woman was strange towards these babies? Now it's come out in the news she killed 7 babies, but there was other kids. How come they didn't say that? Do you see what I'm trying to say?
I've got a couple of friends who are. Well, I've got a couple of friends. One who can't see his children. The other one is losing his children for adoption because they don't want to give the kids back to the father, even though the father is a very reasonable guy.
Almost to say that the father's wrong when the guy could even.
They won't. They will run if there's any matrimonial dispute. If the police are ever called out, for example, they'll always favour the woman, even if the woman is the perpetrator. They'll change things around.
Can you imagine? That's
and
bad,
Cressida Dick, the ex Metropolitan Police head, she was the major catalyst of this as well. You see. Look at that. She was the head.
People have got to fall in line. And even if you're a general constable and you do want to make a change, there'll be so many of them that they'll just be like, well, there's the exit door. Or
I'm really enjoying speaking to you because you're very, very well clued on. And this is exactly what we as Muslims believe. But what we believe, this is all being done in the run-up or the lead-up to the coming of Christ, where an anti-God system will be in place, unrecognized in history. And this is where, when he will come, he will fight for. But one thing more of interest. Now, the one country in the Middle East which promotes gives propaganda towards LGBTQ rights.
Is that like Jordan? One
no.
of those places?
Shall I tell you which one it is?
Israel? Jordan?
Israel.
Oh,
Israel is the only country, like here, exactly like here, which promotes and accentuates LGBTQ. Now, why do they do that? That's the question. Who's propelling this? Because when Jesus comes, the powers that be will want to fight him. Can you imagine that he will represent Israel, which is the common notion amongst Christians? Anyone who goes against Israel, Jesus will defend Israel. So you're trying to tell me Jesus will defend LGBTQ of Israel? No, my friend.
Yeah.
That's the only country in the Middle East which promotes and accentuates it. So, this is the very notion we need to understand. They're getting ready for Jesus to return to fight against Jesus. These from here, they're the ones plotting and planning. Are you following what I'm saying to you?
Yeah, I'm listening. These powers in this form. But when I see the community in this whole LGBT, I do believe a lot of people are against it. But like I said, people in positions of jobs and things, they're too scared to.
But we need to come together, you see. This is very important, my friend. All of us, wherever we are, we need to come together and say no. You know, if we are all united, if we, for example, have a different belief system in terms of our religious beliefs, we can push that aside because we can also know our common good. You understand? So this is very important. And our belief is there will be a unification between Muslims and Christians who will understand what this system is all about, and they will unite against this system. But those who represent this system, they will also be of this. And I want to say something to you off camera as well, after we spoke, something you will find extremely interesting. It will make your bone chill. It will it will give you goosebumps. But I'll tell you off camera. Off camera, I'll tell you.
Oh, okay.
Off camera. But it's absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. You know, it's to do with a new brand of people, mixed race people, which has been foretold. They were the ones who will be pushed forward into the battlefield to fight, representing the values of LGBTQ feminism and atheism. But I'll explain to you very shortly. If you watch the TV advertisements, who is the face of selling all products now? Think carefully before you answer. Which ethnic person?
I've heard of this advertisements. Is that like, is it to do with adverts and things, or things or something?
Yeah. So advertising, for example, if you watch TV adverts.
Yeah, that is true. It's usually mixed race, isn't it? It's usually mixed race with, say, a white woman or
black
guy for
yes.
white woman, or
yes,
say,
sir,
Asian
yes,
guy
sir,
for
yes,
thingy.
sir.
Yeah.
Our hadiths make mention of this. That this, from amongst the Romans in Islamic eschatology are referred to as Europeans. There will come a group of people who will be of mixed race with close cropped curly hair and have certain features, and they were mixed race. And these are the people who will be, that's why in some respects, my friend, they're trying to crush racism as well. The ungodly powers that be. If you watch the film Trading Places, 1983.
Yeah. That's with
Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, I've seen Trading
But they're
Places,
enacting the film now.
Okay, yeah, I've seen
That
Trading
film,
Places.
if you look at the storyline, they're enacting it now.
The guy trying to get to the top, Eddie, and then
Yeah,
the guy
and the white guy goes down over a $1 bet they have. Watch the
yeah,
story.
I remember
Watch
that
the
guy.
story. Get rid of the white guy and put the black guy in his place. Right? But they're doing it for a purpose. They want to get these because look, where are we in Stratford? 40 years ago, if you were walking here,
Oh God, you'd be abused.
not just that. What I'm saying to you, 40 years ago, here we're looking around. Can you see an Englishman's face in sight? I can't.
No, you probably have one out of 0.5%.
Yeah, I can't see an Englishman's face in sight. Maybe this guy walking by is an Englishman, but he's a rarity.
Yeah,
we're here every Saturday.
Yeah, it's true.
And we don't see it. We see Eastern Europeans, Asians, people. So why is this happening?
The many white English are in places like Eastbourne
or Essex, they've gone up.
South End, and they've moved to these places.
So the reason for that, you see, let me explain to you something. There's a big game going on, which I would elaborate in such a way or blow your mind to pieces, and hope the audience can benefit as well. So this mixed race of person will come forward to represent their values. They are trying to crush racism to make black people feel very much a part of the society, to make them feel very much that we've been fully immersed. They fully accepted us. Now you can't make racist comments. If you, like for example, in football matches, they should take the knee, taking the knee as a protest against any form of racism. Now it's in the top of the agenda in every single.
But you think of it, you're taking the knee, but to them it's seen as right because the system wants to say it is, and people have to follow.
Yes, but what I'm saying to you, but they need to know the game behind it. Why are they seeking to propel the black person, the mixed race person? Observe. All you got to do is observe TV advertisements. I love speaking about this topic. Observe TV advertisements.
Yeah, I've seen it.
And the reason
over the period of time, you've seen how adverts have changed from the 80s to the 90s to 00S and so on and so on and so on and so on.
Yeah, good man. So you would then observe that why are then these mixed race people being pushed forward? They're being pushed forward for a certain reason. On the surface, they're going to be thinking, you know what? We've been accepted. At last, discrimination is over. But no, there's a deadly plot. That's why you need to watch the film Trading Places. Maybe you can do that before you come onto the show on Monday. Please do it tonight. And another film to watch, which is coincidental for you. Please watch it as well. You People. Eddie Murphy featured in the film made just about a year ago. You People. Same actor. 40 years to the date where he made Trading Places. I want to share with people of different, if Christians who are black or Muslims who are black, the game is big afoot. The powers that be are trying to crush racism for a purpose. That purpose is that they're going to create this type of new ethnic person who will represent them, who will go onto the battlefield against the people who will represent God's law. And they're the ones who will die. Hence, you watch that film again, 1983, observe why they propelled Eddie Murphy to the top.
And the thing that's interesting is that, look how far back when that film was made. Is it ironic that they've done that considering, so it's all a pattern. Even when you look, when it talks about, well, I don't know whether you understand or what you think, the whole thing with 9/11, you see that they say the Simpsons predicted it in the episode 1997. So how has that now been attacked in 9/11
I'll tell you something.
September?
In the mid-80s, there was an actor by the name of Raymond Burr. He played a guy called Ironside, a wheelchair-bound detective in the United States. Okay, and this guy made a presentation in the mid-80s of the prophecies of a chap called Nostradamus. In which, towards the end of the 20th century, they show these images of like an Osama bin Laden type figure who will be wearing all green in an underground bunker plotting the Twin Towers. It actually shows it. It's called the prophecies of Nostradamus. And they show these images where where the planes are going into the Twin Towers. This was made in the 80s. Okay, it's called The Prophecies of Nostradamus, presented by an actor called Raymond Burr.
Even the Trump, how it shows, and again in another episode of The Simpsons back in 97, 96, talks about Trump being president and how ironically, this guy became president.
So what I'm trying to people to observe is that this is all pre-plotted, pre-planned. They believe they can easily lead people of different colours onto their moral structure, and they have to, and you have to follow us. You got no say. So the argument is like this: if it's wrong to discriminate based upon your colour or your ethnicity, well, it's wrong to discriminate based upon a person's sexuality. So that they've tried to then amalgamate the two, hence infuse it. You're clued on, bro. You're very much. I'm thoroughly enjoying speaking to you because I speak about this topic a lot. Sometimes people find it a bit airy-fairy.
I think the reason why they find it airy-fairy, some people don't know. Some don't want to get in between of, I don't want to hurt anyone's feeling. Some don't care, or some will see a religion and be like, he's a weirdo. And I think all those things mix together.
Yes.
But they don't realise how, over time, whether they want to see it, is they're going to see these changes. Maybe he may not see it, she may not, but the other groups of friends will.
Good man. It's all grounded. I mean, for the Muslims who watch our discussions, they know where we're coming from. But when we're adding these bits in for them to realise what is this all about, why are they unequivocally supporting Israel despite its massacre of the Palestinians? 30,000 people dead. They won't criticise them. They're giving them aid. They're financing them. Why? Because according to Christian evangelicals, they believe that in order to perpetuate the return of Christ, the Jews must be in Zion.
What do you mean exiled, sorry? Pushed out, you mean?
Pardon?
I can't remember what exiled means. Does that mean pushed out, exiled?
So say that again?
Exiled, does that mean you're pushed out?
But they have to be in Zion. The Jews have to be in Israel in order to propel the return of Christ. Because according to their belief, when Christ comes, he will judge mankind. So Russia, like the Russian Orthodox Church, for example, they hold on to these values. They haven't succumbed. They believe in things like what we believe: the coherency of the family, rejection of things such as LGBTQ, feminism, and all these concepts. They're holding on to that because as Muslims and Christians, we share that commonality, you see. And the Quran tells us, Allah, who we believe is the Almighty God, tells us that the Christians are the nearest to you in belief and love. Amongst them, there are people who are not arrogant. And when the truth is presented, they accept it. So this is where the society is spiraling towards. So in order for you to have a fantastic discussion, maybe over this weekend, to know where I'm coming from, obviously it'll be a bit time consuming, but particularly these three films which I made. Omen 1, 1976.
Omen 2.
No, not Omen 2, just Omen 1, that'll be sufficient. So I don't want to do
Trading
overload.
Places, yeah.
Trading Places, You People, and if you get the opportunity to watch the fourth film, Scars of Dracula. Come on the show on some Monday, and boy oh boy, I've got some tons of, and we'll speak much more about Michael Gove and what he's up to as well.
Scars of Dracula. And even you say that, it's quite interesting, which you probably know if you've heard, Albert Pike.
Yes.
He was a 33-degree Freemason.
Absolutely, he was, yes.
Again, had this agenda of pushing in society. Hence, you have many powerful 33-degree Freemasons who are presidents, who are following this platform. Considering if you're building from the first, second, third degree, the ones at the top to 33 degree, they know what's going on.
Yes.
Whereas when you're a Mason from first two, you're just thinking I'm following a charity, a genuine brotherhood. Until you get right to the top,
and
these are the people who are sacrificing
and
babies,
fabulous
removing people in force and saying, this person was bad and did it, which is saying America's failing because it's the state saying, it's right.
Yes.
It's really though.
Fantastic.
See what I'm saying?
You're a man after my own heart because
really
I'm often fantastic. See, this is a Christian, guys. This is a Christian friend of ours who is saying exactly what I'm saying in the lead up to the coming of the. So Muslims, you need to be aware when Jesus comes what the setting will be. So these things people have probably heard me commonly speak about. New information. Our Christian friend here, he's also clued on about this. So we need to be aware of this. We need to come together and we need to propel this. We're not going to accept it. We're going to stand up against it. Although you got the power, you can control, but at the end, more and more people know what your games are, you will be exposed. And this is what it's all about.
And which has always been there, the one who appears to be the world.
He's not me.
You always gonna have people that spaz out. Again, which has always been from the past, if you're the richest, if you've got the best trainers, if you've got a Rolex, if you're seen as great, and your voice should be heard more.
Yeah.
So again, you can see how if you want to call it the Western world, but it's always been there. If you're seen as the greatness, you're going to be more than likely heard more. Hence what I said with America, and they were the ones that ended the war. They were the ones they were the ones who defeated the Ottoman Empire, and so on and so on.
My friends here who are filming us,
Yeah.
they got like hundreds of thousands of subscribers, but lately I've observed the viewership has gone down because they're being shadow banned.
That term.
The shadow ban means they're only allowing a certain amount of viewership to go in.
Yeah,
so commonly, when I would have,
platforms,
exactly.
Controlled by these people.
So commonly, I've had video like discussion with hundreds of thousands of views, but lately it's gone plummeting down because we're speaking about these hot topics.
Yeah.
With the brother, I would go to central London about the Palestinian march, getting people to really come out. Look, the average person is finding it unacceptable. But what they're saying is, we got the best system called democracy, but we don't give a damn about what you think. You, the public, we will decide how to go about doing things. Okay, and we will call you mobs. We will call you what you call people who are not, who are extremists who are going to these marches. Millions of people attend the marches. People that are peacefully demonstrating. It's not this like this hooligan culture there. Very nice. I've been there. Hundreds of thousands of people. Very peaceful. What happens? Out comes Suella Braverman, another one I went after for a long time, but by God's grace, she got removed. So she was also making. There are mobs within this. There are Islamists.
Again, terms that they create.
Hate
crimes and so on to brainwash people to make them believe.
Yes. So we need to all come together. I'm a firm believer in this. Muslims can't dispute that. Surah 5 verse 82 of the Quran. It tells us that you are the nearest to us. And Christians are ones who accept. We get many people become Muslims from a Christian background. So what I could do before you leave, I'd like to give you a little set of literature with the Quran, maybe if you'd like a copy, and we've got literature on the table, and you can have a little read through it. Yeah, good man. I really enjoyed speaking. You're very much clued on, and let's just finish off over here, and then ask if you want to.
One thing I do know, brother, like what I was elaborating more on that Sunday, I do believe that the Roman Catholic Church are trying to create Sunday as a pure day of rest, because when you've looked back in society, Saturday has always been the seventh day when you look at the original calendar. And over time, the church and the system, like all these Protestant churches, they all follow Sunday. They don't follow Saturday being rest. They all follow Sunday. And the Roman Catholic Church has said all of these ones still following Sunday are under our banner, whether it's consciously or subconsciously. But again,
that's a worship of the sun deity,
the sun
isn't
god,
it?
Baal, Tammuz, all
and
these sort of things.
Exactly,
Sun worship,
yes, precisely.
Which Emperor Constantine was leading the people into sun worship, and you rest on this day, etc. So hence why you've got shops which close earlier on Sunday, but they want to create all these shops to close on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Hence Saturday is again the busiest day of the week.
Yes, that's right.
Which, as they say, is the Sabbath, the day of rest,
Day of
created
rest.
in the Ten Commandments. But
That's right, yes.
you can see what the agenda is which they're pushing. The top of the Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, all these people, they know what's going on. Because they're
Sorry, my friend.
So excuse me, my friend, we're in the middle of the filming, so thank you.
I want to be agree with him, this guy, because Jesus Christ is bigger.
Okay, that's fine. So
He's
that's your
the
opinion.
most
We
one.
don't want
Jesus Christ is.
This is being.
Hey,
There are
don't
hundreds.
talk with me. I'm talking with you.
Okay, excuse me. There are hundreds of thousands of people watching this, so
I don't
please.
care.
Okay, but you're interrupting us.
But you didn't listen to me.
Okay,
Nobody
that's fine.
listened to me.
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
Well, I'll listen to you after.
Okay, you listen to you after that.
You are Christian, yeah?
Yeah,
Okay, fine. So let's just finish
I'll
this off
talk to
because
you
this guy is a little bit out of it. Yeah. So we've actually concluded now. We had a fantastic conversation. There's not much more to say that, but other than to say, of course, that everything I've been speaking to you about, our Christian friend is totally clued on about what these people are doing. Michael Gove, the biggest enemy of Islam. He is the one perpetuating this new agenda. You know, the Muslims, these organizations like MCB, he's calling them out as people who are extremists, meaning they cannot have a view contrary to the view of the establishment, of the governments. So we need to be focused upon that. We need to be understanding that we have commonalities with people like this very pleasant young man, and we need to come together and repel this. We're not going to let our kids accept the brutal type of ideologies that they have, the impositions that they want to put upon our structured universal morality. Do you want to say something? I've really enjoyed. Say something as well.
Yeah, he's got a lot of good points in what he's mentioned. I've listened as well, shared my comments, and you can see there's a lot of commonalities. And what we've talked about, you can see in terms of media, advertisement, people in power, and many other platforms that are pushing a certain agenda. So it's essential for all of you to hear these points, try and understand. Also do your own research. You know, it's very good to hear from people, but also research so you can get some understanding and concern yourselves and just understand this.
Fantastic. Couldn't have summarised that better myself. So we thank our friend for an excellent discussion, and inshallah, may Allah guide us all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell to keep you updated with the latest videos.